Whether you're a life insurance agent, agency owner, or a new agent who's just getting started, the most important thing when it comes to working your leads properly is you having an entire sales process from beginning to end. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what that is, how that should be positioned, and what we've learned from helping over 700 agents in 4 years issue pay $40,000 per month. My name's Trey. I am the owner of Agent Lead Lab. And on this channel, I try to talk about the strategies, tactics, and behaviors that you can go out and implement so you can write more business, crush it, and consistently hit your goals. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. So for those that are new, I try to use this YouTube channel as a means of like a glorified podcast content all in one. It's not super polished as of right now, and that's by intention. My real goal is to just basically come in here and just treat it as if, I was recording a podcast and kind of letting you all know my thoughts. So it's not super polished. Side note, I like the Starbucks salted caramel cold brew. Strong fire. I got this one yesterday. I'm noticing that depending on who makes it, sometimes it's a little better. It's not. But all right, so let me give you some background, right, on why I'm talking about this today. And I'm juiced up. All right, so a few things, a new perspective. All right, so I spoke to my COO yesterday, K2, if you guys have heard me, I talk about him a lot. We were having a conversation last night, and the context of the conversation was really simple. It was just basically, direction of the company, what it looks like, where we're going, kind of where we're at right now. We had done 600K last month. We're on track to do like 560, I think, by the end of this month, if not 600. We've got 3 or 4 more days. So I think Mondays and through Thursdays are typically really good for us. I think we'll finish out the month pretty strong. But a lot of it just came from, we had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the month. Those who've watched the content. The reason I'm saying that is we were talking about front end. I have not really been a front end person all like that because I got lazy, just being transparent. I didn't really want to run a high ticket funnel because I thought that if you run a high ticket funnel, you have to sell high ticket. Well, come to find out, that's the furthest thing from the truth. The reason I'm mentioning that and talking about this relating to you all is because it made me realize too, I don't really have a defined sales process for selling to agents. I'll be honest, because for me, it's so simple. It's like, dude, do you want better leads? I don't sell build out system, but you still have to make it appeal to the person who does not know me. So for those that watch this content, you guys kind of trust me, know me a little bit. For those that are seeing me on cold ads, they have no idea who I am, no idea about the company. Somebody from my team reaches out and they're kind of like, eh. So what you have to realize now is because of that, we have to still do a lot of convincing. I don't really love convincing people because I realized that when I didn't have a sales process, and it made me go back to being an agent. If I would have just picked up the phone with no sales process and be like, yo, these people aren't buying, I would be screwed. So it's as I'm redefining the sales process specifically for my company, it also made me think I've never had to redefine the process for life insurance because I was part of FFL. So Sean Mike had already created the process. It's just passed down versions of what already works, like the psychology of the sale, being super direct. So I'm going to go through those things really quick at a high level as an agent that you need to know and why a sales process is everything. And if your upline doesn't have a sales process and you're not an FFL, or you're not a part of a really good team, you need to have a sales process through and through, right? So obviously, number A is intro. All right, it's really simple. And the premise of the intro is, hi, name, calling about XYZ. You filled out and put XYZ. Is that correct? It's really simple. Hey, John. Yeah, hey, John. This is Trey. I'm giving you a quick call. This regards to the request I got in the mail. This regards to the request you filled out on Facebook. This regards to the request I got from Google that was talking about the mortgage protection life insurance programs. You listed that your remaining balance was $380K and that the main concern was this. Is that correct? Yeah, perfect. Cool. Now you say intro. Now you say the reason why. So sometimes there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do 2 confirming details. Okay. Or you can go straight into reason why calling and setup. All right. So what does that mean? 2 confirming details is perfect. And just to be clear here, you have your XYZ and XYZ. Is that correct? And then it's just yes. Or you can go straight into sounds good. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. Here's the reason I'm calling. Reason I'm calling is because most people fill this out because they're looking to do this and looking to do this. Is that correct? And they say yes. It's all right, so the way this process works is really straightforward. You're going to tell them what's going to happen. Hey, my job is to figure out a little bit about what made you fill this out, right? Then I'm going to go ahead and after that, we're going to figure out if this is something that you potentially want to put in place because I'm assuming that it is, right? Because you did fill this out. So you're going to just basically walk them through what that process is. Now, The goal here is to explain from top to bottom what you're going to be doing because you're taking control. From the beginning of the call, you're like confirming details. Hey, I'm a licensed underwriter. I'm a broker. I work with all these companies. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to make sure I can figure out exactly what it is, make sure it fits your budget, make sure that it makes sense for you, make sure that you need it, right? And I'm going to give you some recommendations. And then depending on what fits best for you, we're going to go ahead and put an application in to see if we can go ahead and get approved because life insurance is a product that you have to get approved for. Now, there's obviously more finesse ways that you can go about it. But for me, I like getting straight into the why. Because if there's no why, there's no buy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm just shopping for quotes. I'm not the quote guy. Okay. So I like to confirming details or straight into the reason why calling is set up. So you're going to tell them who you are, what you do, right? You can decide to give them your license at the beginning or at the end. By the end, I mean like right before you ask for social. For me, I go straight into the why. So why'd you fill this out? What happens if, so the way I do it is why, what, when, and who. You're probably like, what? So why, fill it out. What happens when you pass? When, no, not when, I apologize. Who will be affected? Why, what, who? Yeah, when. When you filled. So it's another assumptive. Why and when are essentially the same thing. But you could also be like, okay, so when you fill this out, I'm assuming, right? This is going to be a lot of, so I'm assuming. And it's all just sales. It's all structured. Cool. Once you figure that out, you're going to be simple. It's like, all right, so perfect. So I have to ask a few health questions, put you in the right position. Okay. You're going to figure out what happens when you pass. What's your budget? Right. So when you're figuring this out, to me, this is the 10-minute. So what do I mean? I talked about this guy. His name's Issa Pat. He's an absolute savage. He taught me a lot of things when I was selling. He said that he would used to go, I think Zach taught them this. When he used to go into houses, he would set a timer on his G-Shock for 10 minutes and just sit there and play the what game, the why, what, when, who game. Just, hey, what happens when you pass? What does this look like? And the reason you can do that is because if you set the frame, like, I need to figure out how to help you. I got to figure out your budget. I can't just sit here and throw you out numbers. That doesn't mean anything. I don't want to waste your time. Like, I know you want life insurance, so like, let's do this. Now, obviously, you're doing a one-call close. You can do your thing. If you're booking an appointment, that's a whole nother conversation. This is more about the presentation. Most of the times you can go straight into it. If you can't go straight into it, for me, I go straight into like, what has you filling this out? So that way I can gather some details for our meeting. And that just builds a little bit more rapport, right? So then you're going to go figure out like everything about the situation. Then you're going to ask them some health questions. Because even though you know the situation, you ask them the health questions. Now you're essentially putting them in the right frame. You have their budget. You're ready to roll, right? At this point, now you can start presenting options, right? Now, the way that once you have a good understanding of what they may or may not qualify for, you can start creating packages for them. It's really, really simple, right? So at this point, you're going to start creating packages. All right. Now, the way you create packages, essentially at this, you're going to be creating an A, a B, and a C. Okay. Or a gold, silver, bronze. Now, part of the reason why I think it's super important that you do budget and you actually ask legit health questions that you know are going to knock them out from certain products. Like, and then you have to be very, very direct with them. Like, hey, these are the options that based off this, what are we going to go ahead and put an application in for? And then it's like, you need to explain to them what's going to happen. All right. So when you create the packages, you show them like, this is what this one does. This is what this one does. This is what this one does. I have tons of videos on that. So for example, you would say, hey, option A is going to be $30,000. All right. Now I don't recommend that we go for this because of this. You explain why. You tell them what it does. Hey, $10,000 is going to do this. $20,000 is going to do this, or $10,000 will do this. Another 15 will do this. And then 5 will do this, right? You actually spend the money. You have to spend it for them. You have to show them what it's going to do. So that's A, then you go B, then you go C. B would just be 2 things. So it'd be like 20,000. You say 10,000 does this, 10,000 does this. And then C would be like minimum thing we need to do, right? That's how I always explain it. And that's kind of the sales process. Gold, silver, bronze. You go with the highest thing, probably can't afford it, a little bit too high. You go medium. What most of the clients that we work with, they do want to make sure they're putting something together, protect their family, XYZ, add a lot of value there. And then C is like what we have to at least get today. So you're already assuming that you're closing a sale. Now, one thing that's super, super important is I heard a guy when I was at the lock-in say this, and I learned this from high ticket sales, but I didn't know this in selling life insurance. What I would now do after this is I would actually, after I had them select the option, I would then try to do the tie down before the application. Right? So here's how that will work. Let's say I say XYZ, what option makes the most sense for you and your budget? They say this, and they say, all right, perfect. So as I mentioned earlier, the way this process works, we do need to go ahead and put an application in. But just so I'm not wasting your time today, right? And you don't have to say it like that, but that's how we say it in the high ticket space. Like, just so I'm not wasting your time, is there any reason that we wouldn't be able to move forward? So you would just say like, okay, we have all this together. So just so that way I know exactly what we're going to get ourselves into. Up until this point in the conversation, as this makes sense, this makes sense, this makes sense. Is there any reason that we cannot move forward right now with the application? Now, for some people, they'd be like, oh, well, don't say that. But like, I don't, like, now thinking back on it, I would find a way, I'd freestyle that. I've never done that in a sale. I'm just letting you guys know. I've never done it. So bear with me. If you're going to try to do that, like, know that you're going to close less. But the people you do close will stick more. Because at that point, you're not going to have all the objections. It's like they already told you that they're willing to move forward, right? Now, you could also throw that question in above before you even get into the options, which would also be another good way, which is where he mentioned it, which is essentially that you would ask it like after the why, right? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out who's worth your time and who's not. If you go through all this, you might as well close. Like, I wouldn't really do it at the end here. I would do it somewhere up here. I'm just giving you guys the frame of like trying to get the commitment. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's just about the people that are willing to move forward. Because if they're not willing to move forward, you're going to get the objection at the end. Now, you still may get it, but you're going to decrease the likelihood that you do because you're going to essentially get it out of the way when there's no stakes held. So you can also, I've heard some people try to do it at the beginning. Right? So like, hey, this is what's going to go on. This is what's going to go on. This one's going on. Now, if I'm able to put together a plan that fits your budget, and I think I have it over here. Hold on, let me grab it. I'll read you exactly what he said because I was like, yo, this is fire. Here we go. Here it is. So you do intro, budget, pre-approval, discovery, and if then. So it'd be introduction. Then you go into budget, what they can do. You get them pre-approved, right? Well, essentially you kind of ask them essential questions about like health, etc. You just then you do discovery. So it's a little bit opposite. I would go intro, why, who, what, when, which also includes the budget. Then I would go into health questions. Then I go into packages. He does the opposite. He does if then before the packages, which isn't really bad. So essentially he builds all the values. So his thing would be right here. So his thing would be E. So it'd be if then. And what he's saying is this dude's a savage. Like, he writes 100K a month, and I was like, yo, this is fire. The thing is, if I was able to get you approved, take the stress from you and your family for XYZ, so that's when you would get the second part, and then make sure that it's genuinely affordable. Is there any reason that we couldn't move forward today? Now, you can really ask this question anywhere. You can put it above so you really don't waste time. It's like, hey, all right, so cool. We've already got you pre-approved. I know that I can get you approved for a product. I probably would put it above here. So honestly, if you want to do it anywhere, there's another order you could do where you would do intro, a little bit of the why, health questions, then if then. It doesn't really matter. The goal is before you start actually getting into doing the application, you want to do the if then at some point. You just want to. Because if you don't, you're literally going to spend 30 minutes just to get an answer you were going to get anyways. So I'll say it one more time. If I was able to get you approved, and then 2 is stress. So I'll write it then. Here it is. I should write it out for you. If I was able to get you approved, that's 1. So 1 is get you approved. 1, get you approved. 2, now I'm writing take stress, but you would essentially just do, this is where you would put the why, right? And make it genuinely, this is a bar, bro. Genuinely affordable. Is there any reason we wouldn't move forward today? Like, if I was able to get you approved, right? Guarantee that we were going to be able to get you approved today for something. Make sure that Susie, blah, 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 throw in the why, right? And make it genuinely affordable. So that way it would not only be in place today, but be in place for the future. Is there any reason that we couldn't move forward today? Right? And then you go into showing them the options and then you close. And the reason why I'm even going through all this again, because even as in my brain, and once again, you all know I use this as like my podcast, venting, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, dude, I don't have a sales process for myself in high ticket space, but I understand and know how to sell life insurance because I did so many reps of it and I see it and hear it all day long. Right. So this was just a note I had, like I told you when I was at my boy Stan's thing. It's got nothing but dogs in there. Fire bar. And we do that same thing too in the high ticket space. But rest assured, that was the reason I was bringing that up, because that's essentially what you do. And then from there, you just move into show like the application, which is easy. At that point, if they've already selected the option, they've done all this, then the last thing is you're going to go into the app, right? Banking, it's like social. Like I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things. At this point, if you've done all this right and you build a lot of rapport, you shouldn't really have banking or social objections because like there's trust. And if they do, it's like, you need to have this. You need to have this. Yeah, I need your social. Cool. All right, cool. So that's the application part. So health questions. What's your social? All right, perfect. So we're gonna put this in place. It's gonna draft tomorrow, right? Worst case scenario, you got it, but like you're trying to get immediate drafts. Don't be pushing stuff out. Hey, like this is gonna, and the reason why, here's what I always learned about immediate drafts. Now I know there's a lot of different things. Maybe if you're doing like vets and it lands on a social day, I just don't like it in general because here's my thought process. If I have to plan now, I do know that the cool thing, which is fire with vets, that you can set it up to draw on the day that their checks hit, so that they never see it, which is kind of a play. I don't even remember if they had that beforehand because it was like you had to put on a certain date. But if it's like mortgage protection or like a trucker or anything like that, or like an IUL, I'm not really like, yo, you need to afford this at all times. Like I got insurance and it's like $100 a month. It's like, I think it's 110 a month, and another one is 180. Yo, I don't even know when that John comes out. I have no idea. Like I genuinely have no idea. And I don't even know what bank account it comes from, to be so honest with you. The reason I'm saying that is like, you need to know that you're like, I'm always going to have $100. Like I'll always find $100. Even when I'm been down bad, I'm going to figure out a way to make $100. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, absolute worst case scenario, you know, this has to be here. Like you can't, and they're like, oh yeah, well, I'll push it out. It's like, no. You have to understand, it has to stick on the books for 12. This is what I learned. So many mistakes I learned from being an agent. I would never push anything out, and I'll just be like, you can't do it. It's okay. Because there's no reason to I understand why people do it. I'm fortunate enough because I like have the credit card and I understand now. But at the time, I get why I was doing it too, because I didn't have no money. So like I was just trying to get enough money, and we were getting advances at the time. So even if we were getting advanced before the payment hit, they stopped doing that. But reason why I'm saying that is I would still be focusing on, okay, I know that I want to close real business, because when I get this advance for $1,500, $2,000, I want to keep it. I don't want to get $2,000 and be like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to have this in 4 months. Bro, you have to understand, if they keep it for 12 months, if not longer sometimes, it's like, bro, if they don't keep it, you're not getting your money. You're just getting an advance to lose the bread. So why are you pushing it out? Unless they have a real reason. If they're on Social Security or disability, and or they're a veteran that gets their check on a certain time and you can make it hit then, that's different. But if they're anything else and they don't have $200 right now, I don't have the money. Bro, we need to do what you have today. That's how I would do it different, because that's the same thing we do with sales. You don't say, oh, well, we'll push it out, I'll get a deposit, and then we'll get you in the community. It's like, no, bro, like if you don't have the money to pay for it today, you're not going to always have the money. How do I not know in 6 months you might not be in the same spot? You obviously you have less than enough money to put towards this towards your account. You should have significantly more resources, or we should be pulling from an account where you're always going to have replenished. If you're holding on by a thread, you don't need to do this, or we need to do it less. What do you have right now in your account that I know every month, no matter rain, sleet, or snow, you'll be able to do? Well, I can do $100 next week. No, you can't. I'm not trying to be rude. So let's just start with 50. Bro, you might close lower deals, but you will have stickier business, or you just don't close them at all. Because see, my thought process is, honestly, the way I look at it is, I'm not trying to be rude. If somebody spends less than $100 on their life insurance, unless it's a term, because you're trying to get it cheap and get a big amount. But like, if you're trying to get like an IUL or like a whole life policy, and you're spending less than $100 and you're just like, you're not like on disability, it's like, bro, I don't get it. Like if you're a veteran and you get $5,000 a month, you should not have less than $100 to put towards it. Because my perspective on money has changed. It's like, it's actually $100. Like we can't be serious. It's $25 a week. If you can't afford to do that, we don't even need to be putting this in place. Genuinely. And that's not a lead fall. That's just a numbers thing. It's like, yo, my cost to acquire a client might be higher, but who cares? I'm making $1,200 on a sale. Even if my cost to acquire a client goes up, but I get stickier business, it doesn't really matter. $1,200. If I put $500 in and I get one sale for $1,200, I'm still making $700 profit every single time. The difference is my $700 is sticking. That's super scalable. And that's considering that nothing changes with the marketing to get the cost down, to get the leads. Because if your leads are coming in, let's just say you're buying leads and you're spending $40 a pop, and basically every 12 leads you get a sale. That's for a 25 pack. You're going to close, if you click 25 leads, you close 2. Dude, it's like you drop a band, it's $500. But if your average commission is you put 1,000 in, you make 2,400. Like, bro, that's $1,400 profit. I'm doing that every day of the week, especially if it's sticky. Now, if I get better, or the leads get better, and I can even close 3, now it's like, what's that? 4 something, like 420 or something like that. Right? So it's like, $333. If it's like $333, it's like, dude, that's fire. Like, I don't see why 4 closes is $250, 5 closes is you know what I mean? So you just start doing the math, it makes sense. And that's why I think the goal should not be just trying to like squeeze sales out, but it should be like, get the right people, bro. Like, you have to keep these people for 12 months. And that's super important, because even in my sales process now, it's like, I need the right people. Like, you could sit here and close anybody. Like, I can close anybody for anything. I sell dollar leads. Like, I could be like, yeah, bro, here's $1. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like selling final expense. So hope this video helps. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. If you need leads, go to Lead Lab CRM. If you're looking to book a call, we are transitioning our setup to be able to take booked calls. So go to the website, agentleadlab.com. You can book a call. I am letting you know, if you are watching this and you do book a call, we're just selling leads. It's not really anything different, but we will explain how we generate the leads, what makes us different, and kind of our unique mechanism, right? We have AI optimization from a sales standpoint. So your AI lead optimization. So nobody else in the game is doing that. We just have like overall, like our ads are optimized. They've been running. We're the longest tenured company right now that you're going to find. We've been in business for 4 years. So we've just been ripping, which has been more low key because I've been playing ball. But outside that, we got a community. We have over 700 agents. We've got over 800 video testimonials. I mean, there's really nobody that compares. So we're just going to start talking our stuff, popping our collar, and making it happen. So see you guys next time. Bless.